You've been there before, feeling unsure, maybe even a little embarrassed when it comes to giving pleasure. Maybe you've worried that you're just going through the motions, or your partner can tell that it feels like you're just following a script or whatever you read in Cosmo or whatever you've heard about. But you've never really felt confident in your own sensuality. It's frustrating because deep down, you know there's more to sexual expression than just checking off a box. Yet you're stuck, unsure how to tap into your own inner sex goddess. The pressure to perform can feel overwhelming, especially when you're not sure if what you're doing is the right thing for your partner. Maybe you even caught yourself comparing your abilities to someone else, your best friend, the women in book club, wondering if they're better at it. Maybe they're just more in tune. Maybe they're just more confident. And it doesn't help that you've heard about techniques that sound effective, but when you go to try them and implement them, something feels off. The last thing you want is to feel like you're not good enough or that you're missing out on creating a deeper connection and providing more pleasure to your partner. Well, imagine this. Instead of worrying about whether you're doing it right, you become so in tune with your own pleasure and sensuality that giving it becomes an act of pure, authentic expression. And you exude confidence knowing that every touch is tailored to your partner's unique desires. In this episode, Hot Mamas, you're going to learn how to transform a simple hand job into an act of sensual mastery, customized to the erotic language of your lover. And if you're feeling like you're not there yet, don't worry. I've got a new resource for you. So stay tuned, listen to the whole episode. And if this has served you in some way, be sure to rate and review the podcast because that goes such a long way in helping new people discover this amazing work. See you there. Welcome to the Multi-Orgasmic Millionaire Podcast, where sexual liberation meets financial empowerment. Join me, Tilly Storm, top 20 sex coach worldwide, on my own journey to becoming a multi-orgasmic millionaire through the mystical art of sex magic, financial savvy, and guidance from my very own mystical Yoni Oracle. I'm going to reveal how I'm turning orgasms into cold, hard cash. Get ready to dive deep and discover the secrets to living a life of abundance on your own multi-orgasmic terms. Welcome back, ladies. It's Tilly Storm. And you know what? This episode came about because my man and we were watching comedy one night. Confession here, I love watching comedy when I've had a not so wonderful day. I was in it, and my man turned on some comedy, and the lady was talking about something that I had never heard of before. You know how female comics always love to talk about sex. And this lady had brought up how someone that she knew was giving an Amish hand job. And I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? Anyway, so she gives an example of what it is. I'm like, holy shit, I hope nobody is going around giving a hand job like that because that's embarrassing. So today I wanted to make sure everyone knew how to give a hand job like a motherfucking sex goddess, because when you are connected to who you are and your sensual turn on, your eroticism, your pleasure, when you're clear about that and you feel confident in yourself and what you are giving, a hand job becomes more about an act of giving based on your authentic expression rather than something that you're just trying to follow a script for or something that you're just trying to get to an end goal here. And I want to show you how to give hand jobs like a sex goddess, because there is a vast difference between someone who just follows the script and someone who is so embodied and in her pleasure and in touch with her sensuality and herself that she exudes this level of confidence that just is not going to happen when you're a newbie or you're not embodied or you're not in touch with your own sexuality. At the end of the day, a woman who is turned on and embodied and in her pleasure is going to exude a level of confidence that others notice, making her magnetic, making her confident in who she is and who's just simply going to make more money. So ladies, if you want to become a sex goddess of hand jobs, to feel more confident in your skills there, then first get your mojo back, become embodied in your sensuality and your sexuality, and then giving one is going to feel so much easier. And if you aren't feeling that way right now, no worries. I've got you, girl. I want you to go to the link in the show notes and download a brand new video I just made for you last week. It's called How to Become a Sex Goddess Webinar. It is the most potent 15-minute video I've ever made. I'm going to share with you the 4-step process that women use to rekindle their mojo, awaken to their multi-orgasmic abilities, and reconnect with their partner while feeling safe to be fully sexually expressed. Go to the link in the show notes, put in your name and email, and I'll immediately send you the How to Become a Sex Goddess webinar. Do that and then come back here and then listen to this amazing podcast on giving amazing hand jobs like a sex goddess. Let's just assume you're already turned on, you're already in touch with your sensuality, you're already fully expressing your sexuality, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to try out some new skills here. The first thing that I want to share is that hand jobs need to be tailored, as well as any other sex technique, to the erotic language of the receiver. What this means is that any sex technique, you can't just apply the technique to the person and expect that it's going to work. This is why, for example, oral sex, giving a blowjob, giving a hand job, being fingered, all of these things, they work for some women, they work for some men, and then it depends on the partner, right? And the reason that it varies so greatly, if, for example, you're receiving oral sex, maybe you've been with that lover who gave amazing oral sex, and then you had a different lover who you really liked, but how they gave it, it didn't vibe with you, even though it was basically the same thing. Well, there's little nuances and sex techniques that make all of the difference in the world. And you can modify every sex technique to the erotic language that the receiver is. Let's start with a couple of different types of strokes, okay? And then I'm going to share how you can modify the different types of strokes for different lovers depending on their erotic language. So the different types of strokes, I'm going to share 4. You have your regular old hand job stroke. So this is the most common one. This is where you just use one hand stroking up and down the entire shaft all the way up towards the frenulum of the penis, one-handed. And then you have your double hand stroke where you can use both hands, one placed on top of the other. So you'll grip one down towards the bottom of the penis and the other hand will go right on top of the first hand. And then you're going to stroke up and down the shaft. And this is great because it's going to hit the frenulum of the penis. So you definitely want to use lots of lube or oil for these. And then you have the bottle opener stroke. This is one of my favorites to give because most men really love it. This is where you have one hand gripped around the penis at the bottom, the base, stroking up and down, about maybe halfway up. And then you have the other hand is up at the top of the frenulum, and it's making like a bottle opening motion. So if you can take your hand and pretend like you're opening a bottle, you're twisting it to the side, but as you do it, you're going to be going up. So take the jar twisting movement, but pull up just a little bit. So you're going to take your hand around the frenulum and start lightly twisting your hand until it pops off. So that's the bottle opener stroke. This one is a really awesome one. So it's like you're stroking right around the frenulum and then popping your hand off of the frenulum after you get to about a 180-degree turn. And then you have the last one, which is the backslide stroke. So this is where you have one hand that is at the base of the penis, holding the penis, and then the other hand is going to be flat on top,
stroking up and down the entire shaft with just more of the base of your hands, and your fingers can kind of be loosey-goosey. They can kind of just stroke the penis up and down, almost like you're petting an animal or something. You're just going to almost like pet it as you stroke it, right? And then the other hand is going to be on the back side of the penis, just holding it and just resting it in your hand. So those are the different types of strokes that you can have fun with and play with. Now, the important thing is that you want to modify them based on the erotic language of your lover. Let's take the energetic. If your partner isn't energetic, then you're going to really want to set the mood. You're going to use candles, put on some music. You're going to build anticipation. This is one of the biggest keys for an energetic lover, is that you don't want to just go for the hand job. You want to build anticipation and tease. So maybe you can whisper words into their ears. Maybe you can have some eye contact with them and really take your time with an energetic lover. And you can build the tease by, before you start touching them with your hand, maybe using a feather or just hovering your hands over his penis and just really teasing around the area. You want to hover your hand just above the skin, maybe create like an energetic connection as you give eye contact to your energetic partner. Once you're ready to actually start stroking, like one of the 4 strokes I just mentioned earlier, you're going to go very slow and you're going to build up the speed and the pressure as you move along. And as you're doing it, you can share words in your partner's ears, tell him things that you love about him. All of this is going to really do it for an energetic partner. If you have a sensual partner, then things are going to be a little different. Okay, you want to start with maybe a full body massage, or you can draw a bath for them, put some essential oils in the bath, let them take time to have that toggle, because a sensual is all about transitions. They are slow to transition from one thing to the next thing during their day. To get them into a sensual sexual space, you want to provide a toggle. Maybe it's an evening cup of tea or a morning cup of coffee before they really wake up and get into a space where they can even be sensual or sexual. For your sensual lover, once you get them into that space, then you want to begin using slow, deliberate strokes with a focus on sensations. Sensuals tend to really enjoy contouring touches, meaning that you're stroking along the contour of whatever body part you're touching. You're not poking, you're not pinching, you're not squeezing. You're using the flat of your hand against the body part that you're touching. And with your sensual lovers, you want to mix different types of strokes, including light grazing and firm grips. You can play around with the 4 different types of strokes I mentioned earlier, but you want to play around with different sensations, because the sensual really enjoys all different types of sensations. With your sensual lover, you're really going to want to encourage your partner to focus on the sensations and just enjoy the moment. If you say, hey, just focus on what you're feeling right now. If you sense that their mind is going elsewhere, or that they're thinking about their dirty laundry on the floor, things like this, you really want to direct your sensual lover back into their body, because they have a hard time getting into their body. Once they're in their body, they feel a lot, but to get them there, it can be quite a challenge. If your partner struggles with this, then definitely encourage him to come back into his body, that the dishes are still going to be there when you're done. You can deal with it later. The kids, whatever, they're still going to be screaming. Hopefully you're not having to do this while your kids are screaming. But hey, as a mom, I understand. Now, if you have a sexual erotic language partner, then you're going to be pretty quick and to the point. You don't have to do a lot of buildup. You don't have to build a tease, but you do want to create an environment that does feel explicitly sexual, whether it's you go put on the sexy lingerie or you present yourself to him in a way that you enjoy. You just want to be very confident and straightforward in your actions. And with the different types of strokes that I talked about earlier, you can use firm, consistent grip and rhythm. Make it consistent, focused on the most sensitive areas, such as the head and the frenulum, and maintain that steady, rhythmic pace that builds intensity with the pressure, with the touch, all of that. And you can use dirty talk for a sexual. You can definitely talk to them, encourage them to feel all of the pleasure that they want, have as much pleasure as they can possibly experience in this setting, because they often feel like maybe they're too much, or they tend to get off really fast. So encourage them to just be there and feel all the pleasure, soak in it, revel in it, and enjoy it for as long as possible. Now, if you have a kinky erotic language partner, then you definitely want to bring in some power dynamics into the mix here. You want to give commands. So you want to use a combination of soft and rough strokes. You want to incorporate elements like spanking and scratching different parts of the body as you are building in the handjob techniques and playing with those different types of strokes. You want to utilize power play here, experiment with control dynamics. You can hold your partner's hands down, you can give them commands, you can tie them down, you can build more arousal by bringing your partner close to climax and then stopping, and then bringing him close again and then stopping. And you can incorporate role-playing scenarios in your handjob giving. You can use dominant or submissive language based on the roles that you're playing, things like this. And if you have a shapeshifter erotic language partner, then you're going to want to combine elements of all of the ones that I just mentioned and spend a lot of time, because your shapeshifter likely can experience pleasure for a very long period of time. They often have a hard time feeling satiated because they love to just revel in how much pleasure they can receive. You can use a mix of light touches, firm grips, teasing, or sensual strokes, and you want to be responsive to your partner's reactions and change techniques as needed with your shapeshifter partner, because they're likely going to maybe get bored with one type of thing and then want you to do something else. Shapeshifters tend to get very bored, and when they want something else, sometimes they have a hard time asking for it because they want so many different things. Sometimes they feel like they're too much for their lover. You want to be very keen about that. And once your partner, if you see him starting to check out, then to really check in with him and find out, what would you like me to do now? What would you like me to do now? Okay, I'm gonna do this. How long can we do this for? And just play, right? So you want to combine physical touch with verbal affirmations. You can really play with energy here. You can give him commands, because your shapeshifter is going to be into all of the energetic, sensual, sexual, and kinky sorts of things. Now that you have learned how to modify your handjob techniques to the different types of erotic languages, you can begin to practice on your own and build more confidence in your own ability to give and provide pleasure to your partner. As a sex goddess, you want to feel that you have the ability to give your partner pleasure, to feel that you know your partner well enough and can work with his body, and to know his body well enough to master what's going on for him. And the more that you feel confident to do that, the more he's going to respond, and your confidence is going to continue to grow and to build, making it feel more safe for you to give pleasure, making it feel like you don't have to shy away or feel like, oh no, I don't know what to do. My partner is so different than me and I just haven't found a way to make it work yet. It doesn't have to be like that. If this is something that you really struggle with, if you're shy, if you feel embarrassed to try any things that I've shared with you today, if you aren't confident in your skills as a lover, then I want you to go to the link in the show notes and book the Confidence Boost call. This is where we're going to hop on a 45-minute-ish call, and you have the opportunity to talk with me about these things, to share with me what's going on for you in your sex life and relationship, and what is it that you're wanting to create. And then we can really talk about what are the specific blocks and obstacles in the way of you feeling like a confident sex goddess who can own it and who can master different sexual techniques like the handjob. Also, I want to share with you that I have a brand new webinar. It's only 15 minutes and it is jam-packed with so much goodness to share with you how exactly you become a sex goddess. It's called the How to Become a Sex Goddess webinar. All you gotta do is go to the link in the show notes, put in your name and email. You can watch the 15-minute webinar. It's one of the most potent videos I have ever made to share with you exactly what it takes to get you from lacking confidence in the bedroom to feeling like a full-blown sex goddess. So go watch the webinar now, share it with your friends, shout it from the rooftop. It's one of the most amazing, potent videos ever, and I'm so excited to share it with you. All right, see you there.